Hi everyone, I'm Genie. So, let's talk about Sejuani on expeditions and how to maximize your chances of reaching 7 wins, how to draft around her and whatnot. Sejuani works very well with the plundering effect, but focusing too much on that can make your deck weak and kinda too slow. So the best way to do it would be to be on the lookout for specific cards to make her work. There are some cards you shouldn't let pass by, and these cards are Ruthless Raider is an awesome 2-drop to have on Sejuani's deck, because the enemy would need to have a very specific 2-drop to stop you from getting through his defense, therefore stopping you from getting the value from Overwhelm. There are not many cards that cost 2 or 1 mana that has 3 health, so this is a very good card to have on Sejuani's deck. This second card, Ember Maiden, is probably the most important on the archetype. It doesn't look that good on paper, but believe me, it is. Because not only she guarantees a hit on the enemy nexus, it also enables plundering effects from the very start of the round. This is very important, because there are some cards like the Ursine Spirit Walker, I probably butchered the name, and Wolf Rider that are very good cards and they come right after the 3 mana mark, and being able to play them on curve with the plundering effect is insane, is actually insane. It's too much value to pass by, and you will get as well 1 point to level Sejuani up. So really, Ember Maiden you probably should have at like 3 on the deck, and the same thing with Ruthless Rider, but Ember Maiden, I think it's more important. And to be honest with you, every time you see Overwhelm, you should stop and take a look at the card and see if it's worth putting in your deck, because Overwhelm cards with Sejuani usually are very good. For example, They Who Endure, that unit that gets bigger and bigger the more units die, the more ally units die. And even units like Alpha Wildclaw, like it's a common, but still it's a big body. It has pretty big damage, and it has Overwhelm as well, so it's pretty good to have. Another card to have at least 1 or 2 in my opinion is Pact Mentality, because you know, when you have Sejuani you usually will have minions on board, units, followers on board. So, you know, getting that +2/+2 with Overwhelm is fantastic, and it can either saves you on bad rounds or even finish the game off. So it's very good, very worth considering card to have. Buffs are also very good having. For example, Fury of the North can secure you lethal and makes you get some, you know, trades that you wouldn't have otherwise. So even though it costs 4 mana, it's a good card to have 1 or 2 as well, because it can come in clutch situations, not only in the late game, but quite early as well. So let's now talk about the 2 most synergistic regions, in my opinion, with Sejuani. And believe me, I don't think Bilgewater is that good. I may be wrong, I didn't play much with Sejuani and Bilgewater, but I kinda won a lot against it and with the decks that I build around her. So yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't think, even though there are a lot of plundering effects and there are a lot of cards that enable plundering in Bilgewater, I'm not quite sure if it's worth it. I think perhaps with Misfortune, yeah, it can work, but it's quite situational. It depends on what champions you may find. Now, what I really think that works with Sejuani is PNZ and Noxus for the obvious reasons, but let's go for PNZ first. For PNZ, you will be looking for cards like Static Shock. You can also have used Cask Sailman in case you don't have Ember Maidens enough, and Mystic Shot and whatnot. PNZ is good because it has a lot of value cards that hits the enemy nexus if necessary, as well as being removal. And by the way, I believe Teemo can work pretty well with Sejuani because of the damage from the round start, from the mushrooms. But for the moment, that's theory because I haven't tested it yet. But Sejuani can probably be a good addition to a Teemo deck, in my opinion. In a V deck, she's good for obvious reasons. High attack, and she can get overwhelmed from Fjord cards, hits the Nexus when levels up, and yada yada yada. V is fantastic, so yeah. Now talking about Noxus, it's very easy to see why it works with Sejuani. There are a lot of cards that hit directly the enemy Nexus, but aside from the known ones and Imperial Demolitionist, I believe City Breaker can be good. But he's also slow, so it has no trade potential, and for 4 mana for a 0/5 is quite an investment. It can work, but I don't know, if you have enough Ember Maidens, I wouldn't think this card would fit in a deck. I think it would be overkill it, and you would be wasting a lot of mana for little comeback from it. So you would have to evaluate if this card is worth adding or not. So to focus on Sejuani, you're mainly looking for 4 things. Early on, good value units with trading mechanics, trading potential, strong units with overwhelm, and cards that synergizes with plundering and enables plundering as well, like Ember Maiden, and big units in general, preferably with overwhelm for the late game. Now that's gonna do it for today, guys. Subscribe to the channel, like the video if you did like the video, comment if you think of something about the deck, about the video, about anything, and we will see each other on the next one. See ya!